Do it, girl. We
Just
are
for
live.
fun.
Yes. Okay, so we have one friend already and many more that'll be joining us. My name is Liz, and I am elated. I'm elated. I'm excited. I'm jazzed. I'm all jazzed up because I'm joined by one of my favorite people who I barely see anymore. You
No.
know, we used to live, when you have like friend privilege and you don't even know you have it, where we had friend location privilege. Like I would run into Piera Luisa at my favorite coffee shop all the time, and I didn't even know how good I had it until I moved, and now I don't see you, you sparkly bundle of joy, and so now I have to we have to hang out with hundreds of other people, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
I am always excited to talk to you, but I am especially excited to talk to you because you have a brand new spanking book that's about literally my favorite topic. It's about play. It's about playing. It's about playing and bringing more creativity and play into our lives. And I don't know about all of you, and please let us know where you're joining us from. If you are joining us from Brooklyn, I'm really jealous, and I need you to put it in the chat. But who here wants more play in their lives? I feel like how many hands can I put up? Like I feel like I take everything. I'm a pretty unserious person, and yet I feel like I take life way too seriously all the time. And we were chatting earlier today, and you were saying that we pick up our phones 250 times a day, and you are determined to help people essentially instead of picking up your phone and consuming, right? And we're not consuming good things, all right? Most of the time, you think you're going for a fun thing, and then you find other things, and then you also think you're going for 30 seconds, and you go for way longer. And Piera wants us to be, instead of consuming, creating and making it easier for us to do that. And so I can't think of a better time to be playful than right now. What got you like interested, and what made you notice that we were lacking play in our lives?
Yeah, well, a lot of things made me notice that we're lacking play, but my personal big revelation was that, like, I actually grew up with a lot of play. I was really lucky to have parents who are playful. I had grandparents that are playful, and so I got to see what play looked like in adult life as my family, built businesses, had managed family, managed illness, loss, like dealt with like political outreach, like everything everything that life entails. And I saw how they did that playfully. So it was something that I brought into my adult life, and I brought it into my life as I built my first business, Refinery 29. And
We didn't even talk about you're the
yeah,
founder of one of the coolest media companies in the world, Refinery 29. Okay, so when you found,
um,
sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, Refinery 29.
yeah. So as I was building it, that playfulness naturally was part of how I was building. Right, I was bringing in a lot of curiosity, a lot of experimentation, a lot of imagination. But then as we started to grow the company, and there was more pressure on us to hit certain goals. We had, investors. We started to bring in people from more corporate backgrounds. I started to sit in
Yep.
these meetings where people are like using all these jargon words. And all of a sudden the imposter syndrome like crept up on me, where I started to think maybe these playful qualities, I was not going to be taken seriously. And I'm also already like a petite, colorful, queer, neurospicy woman.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a real consideration, like being taken seriously. But I realized, but I started to think like, oh, I shouldn't, these playful qualities aren't helping me, and I need to pack them away so that I can be like more serious business person. I started
Smart.
like zip up my serious suit, right? And I started to like put away my curiosity so people wouldn't think I didn't know the answer. I started to put away my big
Mhm.
imaginative ideas so I didn't look unrealistic. I started to stop cracking jokes in meetings so that I didn't look like a joker.
Mm.
And what happened was that I started to feel so much more brittle. I was so much less resilient. I like started to have like no perspective about anything. And I found myself laying on the floor of my apartment crying, sobbing about what a failure I was. I made this list of all the ways I was failing at
Oh,
this point in my career that in the outside world would have looked like, a cubicle. And I realized that I was overworked and underplayed, and that in packing away all these playful qualities, I no longer had the resilience, the creativity, and the sense of connection to myself, to the people around me, and to my work that brought joy into my day to day life. And so it was in that moment that I actually, I started to think, oh, maybe I'm not the right person for my company. But then, fortunately, I said, fuck that. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna try and bring bring these playful qualities back and actually lean into them more and
mm,
see if they can actually help me to learn the things I need to learn and to grow in the ways that I need to grow. And when I did that, it was such a huge unlock. And I started to realize that me being playful was a gift to other people, right? When I asked a question in a meeting, I actually wasn't laughed out of the room. Other people would lean in to see what the answer was because they were too afraid to ask. You know,
yeah.
I cracked a joke in a meeting, people were less stressed, and all of a sudden we were more connected, more on the same team. When I floated imaginative ideas, that's how we got to do big, innovative things like 29 rooms. So
Well,
I started to realize this actually is a superpower, and the more I lean into it and give other people permission to be playful, the more they start to thrive and the more connected and creative and joyful we all feel. So that was a huge moment for me. And yeah, I think we're in like a real play crisis right now. We're
a recession. We're in a play
in a play
session.
session. Yeah, play session.
It's like, and as I'm listening to you talk, first of all, I love the idea of being like overworked and underplayed is, and maybe you would think being played is like, when you're being played by a guy or a woman. We don't mean it that way. We
Not
mean
that
it,
kind of
not
play.
playing enough.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing. I love that expression. And it's funny, I was just renewing my passport, super fun. And I was talking to you about it, and I was in the waiting room, and obviously no one wants to be no one wants to be there, and I saw this mom and this kid, and the mom was like furiously texting, which she probably had a million things she had to do because she's a mom in a society that doesn't take care of moms.
Yeah.
And so she's just like going away at this phone, and and the little boy next to her is probably like 5 or 6, and he's just kind of like playing with his hand, and he's like doing like
Uh-huh.
a car, but he has no toys, but he's just using his hand.
Yeah.
He's playing with, like, the shapes of the chair in
Ooh.
the living room, and as I'm sitting there, I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even, like, notice that it had cool holes," like, I didn't even notice the design of the chairs, like, I'm just there being like, "How quickly can I get out of there? What can I get done while I'm waiting and wasting time?" And here's this little boy, yeah, right, like, who's just kind of, like, enjoying the environment and exploring the environment, and we really sort of stopped doing that, and I really do think it ties so much into politics. I mean, Robert said it in the comments, whimsymaxxing, or sorry, dance in the club for Mom Donnie, right? Like that, a lot. And will be an unpopular thing, but it's true. I think that a lot of the popular campaigns, yes, like Mamdani, are playful, but so are the fascists. Like
Yeah.
Donald Trump's campaign to the left for people on the left was very dark, was very, depressing, was very fear-based. And of course, all of those things are true. But I think having been at these Trump rallies, it was playful. Like, they were making these rallies a fun time, whether it was the music, whether it was the dancing, whether it was all of these elements. And so in a way, it's not playing is not just something that can bring us personal benefit and enjoyment, but I really think that if we don't get fun, if we don't play, like we're just kind of giving the fascists we're making it easier for them because that's what that's what yes, the racism, and again, I'm not denying that it's just a fun thing, but I do think that those portions of it people follow the fun. And I think sometimes when we take life too seriously, when we have politicians who are, all about policy and don't have fun, I think that it does, it can erode democracy. Do you know what I mean? Like, have you been, you live in New York. Have you found that with the Mamdani campaign, there has been that element of play, and it has made it more popular?
Yeah, Mom Donnie's campaign was super playful, and I think that, there's, like, this element too of tactical frivolity, like bringing play into our protests and doing it as a way of, of subverting what's happening or
Yeah,
poking fun at the seriousness and the, um, that approach, and I think of everything sort of as, like, you can take the pressured way or the playful way, and the pressured way is when we're really tight, when we're, when everything feels tight, when we're oppositional, right? It's like when it's us against the person, us against the problem, it's very command and control.
mhm.
And the playful way is when we're looking at something from a much more open, collaborative perspective. It's exploratory, it's, like we're seeing it as an adventure, it's creative. And that's why I see play as more of a loving force. I don't like to think about the Trump campaign as being
I
play.
understand.
Think often has an undercut of, like, harm, but I think that, ultimately playfulness is about being in curious, creative engagement with life and with each other, and so
Yes.
I think in that way, it's something that when we lose touch with it and, when we lose touch with it, we start to go into that pressured way, which ultimately is putting us in a deficit too. Like playfulness helps us to be more resilient. It helps us to be more connected. It helps us to be more creative. And those are all qualities we need to change the status quo, to like move into a new reality, to imagine a new reality. So when we lose touch with those, it just starts to deplete us in a way that, is hard to actually have the resources that we need and the joy and the connectedness that we need to create new realities.
Yeah, and the way one of the things I really love about the way that you're approaching this is that, and I think a couple years ago we were talking about it in Brooklyn, somewhere, and you were saying, you're working on this app that's about to come out, which we can, totally talk about. But I think you would use the term something like it's Peloton, but for play, right? Like that we sort of are very regimented with physical health. We're starting to be more regimented with mental health, right? More people are going to therapy, more people are reading books about it, and creating certain times in their day that they, so that their mental health remains, good. And I don't know, oral hygiene, health, right? Like there's
Mhm.
so much more attention to the things that we're putting in our bodies. And so how do you think someone who wants more play in their life can, I guess regimented is the wrong term, but sort of incorporate it in a way that is intentional? Because I feel like when I talk to you, I'm like, yeah, like
Mhm.
play. And then I go off in my life and then I get, serious about everything. Like, how do you incorporate it in your life? How do you integrate play into your life in a real consistent way?
Yeah. So much to what you just said. I think, so often we also try to take the things that are joyful in life and like put them into that regimented box. Like, I should do this. I need to do this. And like so much then has that should energy and it's that pressured energy, right? And like, this is something you're doing for delight, for your soul, for your joy, to connect to yourself and your creativity and the people around you. So I think the first thing is like really understanding what kind of playful qualities light you up. And so in the book I have like these 8 different play types because we often sort of think of playfulness and we think of like the joyful gesture, which is like the yeah, I think you're a joyful jester, right? It's like great humor brings levity to like serious things. They help to they're really powerful in like reducing tension and bringing truth to power. Actually, like the court jester, it's like the emperor's new clothes kind of vibe.
Eh,
But that's one type. So a lot of people are like, oh well, I'm not funny, I'm not silly, I'm not light, so I'm not playful. But playfulness comes in all these different ways, right? Like it can be in the form of honing your powers of noticing, like that child in the waiting room that's like looking at the shapes around them. It can come through curiosity, like going down a rabbit hole of curiosity, of questions, or of experimentation. It can also be physical, like, you know, a lot of us like express our playfulness through how we move in the world, the way we gesticulate, the way that we dance, like that's a form of playfulness too. So I often tell people to think about like, go back to childhood. What made you lose track of time? What did you love? Like, what were you obsessed with doing? And now what would be an adult version of that that actually seems delightful?
Yeah.
Not that you should do it, not that you heard it's, a hobby that's good for you, but
Right.
what actually seems like truly delightful. I also think it's like about practicing it in those micro moments. So I tell people like find your wiggle room. Your wiggle room might be you say like, you know what, when I'm in my next line, I'm not going to pick up my phone, and I'm going to just take a minute and like look around the room and see how many things I can see of a certain color. Or I'm going to strike up a conversation with the person next to me and ask a silly question. Or like Robert saying, like, I'm going to turn on, like it's exact example. Like you're stuck in traffic, the pressured way, you're like gripping the steering wheel and you're like, I should have left at this time. Like, oh, why is there always so much traffic? Like, what are all these people doing out here? That's the pressure.
Mhm.
Playful way is like what Robert's saying, like turn the radio on, sing at full volume, like it's like finding those little moments where you're like, okay, this is my chance to practice because the more like with creativity, with play, like we think of them as like as like something you have to like go and do,
Yeah.
need like time or that need, investment or that need skills. And really, it's like the more we practice them in those tiny moments, like in the car, in the shower, while we're waiting for our coffee to brew, the more we build those skills and the more we actually have that energy in our life that infuses everything that we do.
Yeah.
So that's how I think about it. And I have a couple favorite practices.
Yeah, can you share them? Because
Yes.
yeah, what are examples? Because I love that idea of, it's my favorite question. I love asking people on a date or, anywhere really, like, "What was your favorite thing to do as a kid?" I really do
Yeah,
think such a it sort of opens up a whole, I don't know, you get to know someone in a different way, in a way that takes away all it's like before you knew what was cool or what you were good at, right? Like, or
yeah,
paper, what would make you money? What did you really like doing?
exactly.
And what are examples of like, well, I like doing this, so I should do the, like, what are, because truly, like, I think that it's sad, but play is thinking about that waiting room, it almost, it's like you have to make kind of an effort, to sort of put yourself back into that play mode. And as an adult, to everything that you've talked about in the boardroom, and it's discouraged. And so, what are things that adults who live in a serious world, can do, even to start, before they, take a whole water painting class or whatever, but like, little things that they can do.
Yeah. So for me, when I was growing up, I grew up in Maine and I love beachcombing. I love to go to the beach and like look for treasure, sea
Cute.
glass, shells, little pieces of colorful plastic,
Yeah.
So now my practice is going on wonder wanders, which is like going out, especially if I'm like I live with depression. So sometimes it's like really hard for me to like get out of bed, leave the house. So I'll be like, okay, Pierre, we're going on a wonder wander. And I just tell myself I'm turning my frequency to, the frequency of wonder and awe,
Yeah.
and I just go out and see, like, look for little delights, right? Like, I'll look, maybe sometimes I'll collect a color, maybe sometimes I'll be looking for patterns, or in the winter, the day is shorter, but the shadows are long, and so I'll, like, go out just looking for interesting shadows. And it's such a small practice, but it's, like, a great way to gently reframe, you know, and find beauty in the day. And it's often like at the end of the day, it's like I'll remember these little beautiful details. It helps me to feel like I'm back, like also back in my life. My life is moving, even if I'm feeling stuck.
Mm.
That there's always, and I do it around my house. It's like I'm often walking the same route, and there's always something
Uh,
new. You know what I mean? I think often as adults, we also fall out of novelty, right? Like we're in our routine and we feel dead inside because we're kind of just feel like it's rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So any way that we can like bring in a little bit of novelty, which can just come from actually picking our head up from our phone and looking for that. Another thing that I love doing is I'm a mover and shaker. Like I really, I get a lot of energy from movement. It like really helps me to break out of anxiety, to move through depression, helps me to find joy. So like one of my favorite practices is what I call a shake break, which is just like, if I'm going into a stressful pitch or a meeting or I just am feeling like super blah, I just put on a song, one song. It's like 60 seconds, move my body however feels good. And, that really helps me. I used to always do that at the beginning of meetings too, when I thought, when I was like, people are coming in and they're stressed from the last thing, they're stuck in their to-do list. And I want to bring us all like into this space and like also like just level the playing field and all be silly together, I would do that.
Right.
The other thing I love that I feel like is like something you do a lot is like an exercise called Find the Funny. So
Ooh.
at the end of the day, it's like taking a moment and thinking about when today did things get serious?
Yeah.
What would it look like if I looked at it through the lens of comedy instead?
I'm
So
obsessed. I'm obsessed with that. I'm obsessed with that. That is so is okay, I'm obsessed with it because I have a friend who used to work, he worked on Curb, okay? He was, one of the writers, and he would say that to me sometimes. I'd be like, "Oh my god, this crazy thing and this person and this situation is, really bringing me down." And he was like, "Well, what if that was like a scene in a right? Like in a comedy?" Like it's kind of funny when you think about it. And it helped me be able to see situations that are yeah, especially I think when you feel like really stuck. When
yeah,
something happens and you almost I mean, whether it's depression or even, you're on a downward spiral, it happens to almost all of us. And you kinda keep going down. One bad thing happens, and then something happens with your brain where it just goes, "Oh, and this and that," and you're almost collecting evidence,
yeah,
for that horrible, I don't know, thought that you have about yourself or about your life.
mhm,
And I love the idea of, like, yeah, being able to laugh in the middle of something, or again, maybe later that night. Uh,
yeah.
I think that is so find the funny. It's like,
Find the
I
funny.
love that.
So
No,
you replay it. Yeah. It could be as simple as saying like, "Okay, today's taking myself too serious moment was,"
right,
you can kinda like see how you were like so zipped up in your
right,
serious suit when you didn't necessarily need to be so like so rigid.
right.
Or it can be like, yeah, you imagine it through the lens of it's like a scene in a sitcom, or you draw it as a comic strip. But like it's also fun because like my brother and I always do it when we're home for the holidays, right? Like I love my family, but like,
It's a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's the characters, the situations, all of it. So, like, whenever my brother and I go on a walk when we're home for the holidays, we're like, "Okay, like, let's redo this. Let's, like, play this scene like it was in a comedy," and it just makes it so much lighter, and I think that's the thing, right? Pressure tightens and play lightens, and
Wow.
it's not that play is the opposite of seriousness. It's not like we're ignoring what's going on. It just helps us to get that little bit of distance between the thing that's happening and us so that we have more resources and more perspective and more ability to tackle whatever it is.
Wow, I love that. Okay, so find the funny, and then what is like, I guess, given that you're a play, scholar, what is obstacle to play? Like, for adults, like, in the moment, what are the things that sort of are yeah, the obstacles, like, if people are like, I can't just go out and do something silly," like, what are some of the things that are holding you back that are making play harder
Yeah.
instead of easier, you know?
Yeah, well, I think one thing is that, like, people don't know where to start in adulthood. So
Yes.
they need handholding. That's, like, why I started my new company. We can talk about that later,
Yeah.
and why I wrote the book. But a lot of it is, like, we get this conditioning from a very early age, right, that tells us that play is frivolous, it's childish, it's unserious, it's a waste of time, it's unproductive, and we don't get the messages that play helps us solve problems, that play helps us build resilience, that it helps us to be engaged and connected with each other. We don't realize that it's stress release, right? And that it actually is really productive in adulthood. So part of it is like reconditioning our brains to be like dropping all the narrative that we've gotten and picking up a new narrative, which is not an easy task. It's like even me, I've been studying this, I've been writing about it, I've been practicing it, and I still will like catch myself being like, I can't possibly do that until I get this thing done, even though I'm just spiraling into like stuckness. And it's actually when I step out of it and take the 60 seconds to be, do my play practice, I actually have the energy and the perspective to, like, get the thing done. So, part of it is, like, recognizing, like, am I pressured, like clenched fists, or am I feeling playful? Playful is like an inflated balloon. And if you're feeling pressured, that's an opportunity to pause, to lighten, with, like, movement or laughter or breath to, activate your play powers and to say like, "Yes, and this thing is happening, and I'm gonna try and approach it playfully."
Ugh,
Yeah, but the conditioning is like, you know, that perfectionist voice, it's the cool police that tell you you shouldn't, like, put yourself out there. It's the responsible adult that says, like, "You have to get this done, like, joylessly for some reason." Um, yeah, there's a lot of, like, anti-play voices in our head.
and, yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny because I was talking to my niece who's 13. She's we have some similar personality, and, she told me, well, maybe I won't go too deep into it because I didn't ask her if I could share it, but, she sort of is her generation is very nonchalant. And we I've had I've written about this on Substack when it comes to dating, and I think even when it comes to our politics, but I think truly, I mean, it's the whole nonchalant and the whole cringe of it all,
Yeah,
right? That if you do something that is silly or goofy or not, yeah, that the cool police, I mean, the whole cringe cult, sort of discourse is kind of the cool police
so
that
cool.
you're
Absolutely.
is. So, like, how can we rid ourselves from that kind of, from that? Because you're right, the advice I gave her was, like, it's like, life is like the dance floor at a wedding, like,
Yeah,
no one's dancing, and then one person goes, and they start dancing, and then everyone starts dancing, but
exactly.
before one person goes, like, you're kind of giving permission, but
Mhm.
everyone wants to dance,
Yeah,
but
everyone wants to dance. Everyone wants to dance.
right. And then, yeah, Robert says the darn phones record all the cringe and everyone critiques, and that's definitely a part of it, right? I think part of it is almost, yes, it's adulthood and we're, all the anti-play propaganda, but I also think that we're in a unique time where, yeah, like, if you do something silly, like, you might end up on the internet and you might end up being laughed at in a way that, like, you're more on a stage all the time.
Mhm.
So yeah, like, do you think
Yeah,
about how to resist that kind of, like, voice inside your head that's sort of like, "Don't be cringe," you know?
yeah. Well, I think with all the voices in our head, like, I I think it's hard to just, like, resist them. It's like with anything, there for a reason. So, like, the cringe is trying to keep you safe from ridicule, it's trying to keep you safe from, like, being cast out of society. But I think we have to just, like, be like, "Yeah, I hear you," and also the only way that I'm gonna connect with other people, the only way I'm gonna feel alive and expressed in the world is if I am, have the guts to play and to put myself out there. And, when you think about the coolest people, right? Like, you're really fucking cool. And what do? You put yourself out there, you like crack jokes, you like take risks, you express yourself, you connect with a lot of people by doing that. And it's like when you think about it, like what's going to happen if you don't express yourself, if you shut down every expression, every risk, like your life just gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
You know what I think about a lot? I think about like the regrets of the dying. People who are dying don't way more often regret things they didn't do than the things that they did do. And that's what happens when we, like, edit ourselves into, like, a tiny, into this, like, tiny spot of being scared to do anything. We don't live our lives, you know?
Yeah. That's such a good point. Yeah, and it's like yeah, I love the idea of not of, like, also not being like, don't, sort of trying to repress that voice, you know? I think a lot about this, sort of saying that's out there, but it really does apply to so many things, which is like the brain is designed to keep you safe. It's not designed to keep you happy. And I think that what you literally said it, right? It not taking risks, not putting not expressing yourself. Sure, that'll keep you safe, but
Yeah,
will you happy, and to your point, at the end of your life, are you gonna be like, "Man, I wish I'd taken life more seriously." Like, no one's
yeah.
saying that. No,
No.
I've been more nonchalant.
People in your life, you know what? Think about your favorite peo who are the people that bring you joy, that you admire, that you wanna spend time with, like, they're most likely people that are expressing themselves, that are taking risks, that are, being silly, that are bringing levity to life, and so, like, that's the kind of that's the kind of person
Yeah.
to hang out with, so it's a good kind of person to be.
Robin Williams. And the thing to also remind yourself of is, like, again, because I do silly things. I wish I was sillier. I do think you know, it's nice that you say I fall into that category, but sometimes I do feel like I'm not doing it enough. But I love the idea. I love reminding myself that, like, even if again, people come and join you on the dance floor, they always do, but even if people don't, they're kind of envious, right? Like, they kind
Are
of
they are
wish, right? So even when there's not, I don't know, out loud, support of your silliness, it's like yeah, you're sort of giving permission for people to be their own silly self, whatever that is for them.
Mhm.
Um and I love the thing that you said about moving your body because you and I okay, during the pandemic, you started doing these dance what is there's a name for it.
Exorcism.
Dance how could I even
Exorcism. Yeah, my friend Debbie Attia started it. It's like a cathartic, joyful form of dance. Yeah, it's very playful, very expressive, very no good, no bad, just dance. Not like, not Anna 5, 6, 7, 8, like type of vibe.
should we do one for, like, 5 minutes? Should we put our
Do it. Yeah, let's do it. I'll read everyone a poem first.
Yes,
To
please.
get them in the mood. Okay, we'll read the poem that is about the mover and shaker. So this is about people who use movement as a form of play. So it's get into your body to release anxiety and come alive.
Mhm.
Okay. And the chapter is called Move Out of Your Head. Here's our poem. I'll read it. Our minds are so buzz. Oh, wait, I gotta start over. Scratch that. That was just like wiping the screen, reversing the tape. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Our minds are so busy just buzzing with thoughts. So get in your body when you're tied up in knots. That corporal zone where our life force arose, intuition, creativity, connection just flows. Jump out of your head and into the present. Dance around, you wild little pheasant.
I love it.
Okay, so are we going to be wild little pheasants?
Let's
I
do it.
think
Okay.
like maybe we should do like like a energy spring clean. Like we
Yes.
can like let go of how does music work on here?
I don't even know. Oh, right.
I
Can
mean,
you
I
play
can play
some
music. I
on
don't
my
know if you'll hear it, but
or I could play something on my computer.
okay, great. Put on a fun dance song that you like.
Okay. Oh my god.
We'll do an energy spring cleanse. I think what we should do is so this is like a shake break. We'll do a shake break. I think we should stomp our feet and like let go of like all the heaviness.
Okay.
We'll we'll shake it out. I think we can get like a feather duster, whatever color feather you want, and we'll feather dust our energy. And then we
Oh
can put like some like soapy bubbles, sponges on our hands, and then we can clean our whole energy sphere around us.
my god. I even have bubbles. I even have bubbles. They're somewhere, but let's all play pretend bubbles.
Yes,
Um,
we'll do everything will be pretend. It's
okay,
we're like, what I loved about this teaching this form of dance is that it's, like, a combination of using your imagination and using movement. So, like,
love it.
sometimes if I'm feeling funky, I'll be like, "Okay, like, I'm letting go of this," whatever it is, like, we can call it cringe. Like, I'm letting go of, like, my fear of cringe,
Yeah,
and
there we go.
and then we can be like, "And I'm calling in courage and self-expression,"
I
you know?
like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe
Okay.
everyone can think of something you wanna let go of and something you wanna call in, and
Yeah.
so we'll do it that way. So put it
Okay.
in the chat. What are you letting
Yes.
go of? What are you calling in? And
Yes.
we're gonna dance into it.
Okay. And I love this song. I know people have feelings about Christmas music during not Christmas times, but all I want for Christmas is you always
Do it. Let's fucking
like
do it. Let's fucking play.
I know we often play the footage of President Biden doing stuff that I guess is gone from being funny to
okay, it's
being.
gonna be like on my laptop. Guys, I don't know how to if someone knows how to play it on Substack, I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a little tinny, but you know what?
Let us know in the chat, what are you letting go of? What
Yeah,
are you
what are you
calling
bringing in?
in? Okay, we're gonna start.
Don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. I don't care about the present underneath the Christmas tree. I just want you for my own. More than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas
And now we're gonna
is
start that old energy.
you.
I want you to so we're gonna
Don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. I don't need to thank my stocking for all the fireplace. I just want you for my own.
Okay, now we're calling in the Christmas. We're calling in the Christmas. My name, Alright. Now we're coming out of our Monday. I just hope you have a fun day. Hope you have a good trip in the water.
This is all I'm asking for. I just want you for my
Okay, sis. Now we're Sending you joy.
The wand.
Woo!
That was oh my god.
Do you feel
If you
different?
didn't if you didn't do it with us, save it and do it later because I feel like a new woman.
Right? I do too.
That was so cool. I just feel like that's the pathway thank you, people are, like, applauding. If anyone just watched that sitting, I'm obsessed with that. It's like watching the Olympic you could watch sports. You could watch a dancercism.
Or you could watch miming.
Okay, before we let you go,
Watching the
you ha
timeline.
what? Oh,
Watching the
cleansing?
timeline, cleansing the timeline.
We're cleansing the timeline, guys.
Cleansing the
Cleanse
timeline.
the timeline with us.
Woo! Cleanse the timeline.
Oh my god, people are saying I can't stop smiling. Emily says I can't stop smiling.
Whimsy's
Aki
too
says
hard on
bravo. Oh
Whimsy.
my guys, all you need to do is dancercise, dancerism.
Yeah.
Or
Shake.
again, oh, I wanna bring up your app because
Oh,
you've
yeah.
also created basically a tool that people can, have on their phones, which, like, I think unfortunately, because we are so used to being on our phones, it is kind of good to have a place on your phone that you can go to instead of going doom scrolling, instead of going whatever you do on your app, or on your phone that you know, isn't necessarily the most, playful. So, tell me about the app and, how people can use it.
Yeah. So I was teaching, like, this dancerism during the pandemic, and then it transitioned to doing, like, leading all kinds of play workshops for adults. And so I was talking to people and I was like, what's your barrier to, being more playful, being more creative? And people said it was mostly time and feeling like they didn't have the skills and didn't know where to start. So
Right.
I created this app called Numaluma, and we
Love
we just are in early access in the App Store, so everyone download it. It's free right now for you, only for you, Numaluma. And basically what it is right now the mode of play that you get is you get a really small creative prompt every day that you can do to replace some of those 200 times that you pick up your phone instead of consuming and doom scrolling. You get to create. They're all super easy. They take 1 to 3 minutes. They're meant to actually make you look around in your environment and to, experience joy in a micro sense. Like people are saying it's the antidote to brain rot, that it's a happy place on the internet. And so once you make something, you get to see what everyone else has made. And people are making things in 1 to 3 minutes and they're so delightful.
That's so
It's
cool.
super, super delightful. It's just like a fun, and some people, it's interesting, like people are using it in different places. A lot of students are using it like in between classes to
Uh,
like past brain rot. But then I
nice.
saw, like, my daughter's obsessed with it. She wants to do the daily noodles, what it's called. She wants to do that every day. Um,
So,
so it's really fun. It's really fun. It's really
uh,
joyful
okay.
and it's getting started.
Luma, Luma.
Luma Luma. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, so people can
Nooma.
oh my god, Lana says, "Honestly, I feel like I stumble into a miracle every time I watch this live stream." That's
Oh,
what I want. That's
that's the
literally
best. Stumble
that's
into
the
a
best.
miracle.
Yes,
Oh my
and
god.
he's asking for your IG. It's Piera Luisa, it's your name, right?
Yeah, it's
IG
Sierra
handle.
Luisa.
He's a great follow, guys. And Piera has an amazing Substack as well, and does
Also
all
called
kinds
Luma.
is, yes, and you've done these workshops, these play workshops in New York. I mean, you're just such a delight,
Oh,
and
thank
it's such
you.
a you know what I really love about what you're doing and how you do it is that it's also not like sort of toxic positivity. Like you're like, I deal with depression and I learn how to play and play helps me. And I think that's much more realistic and aspirational for most I know for me anyways. And so I really love the way that you show up in the world and the honesty and just the way that you show up authentically and try and help people with play and helping them learn how to play again. I just think is so I could literally save democracy. I'm, like, not kidding. If the Democrats get a little bit more fun, we're unstoppable. Or the left or whatever, whoever you support. But, yeah, I really oh my god, should we end with, like, one last speaking of play, this was my favorite thing.
Oh my god.
Because I'm at my sister's, I'm in Canada, and this was Emma. This was, like, my favorite. I mean, see how, like, rugged her shirt is? Um, it was this was, like, this is my best friend, and we still keep her around, and it's sort of a fun little reminder. Sometimes it can be that, right? Like, leaving a reminder somewhere in your house,
Totally.
or on your laptop or
Exactly.
on your desktop, your, screensaver for your phone to not take your life too seriously.
So true. All those are great. All those are great tips, like having, yes, having something in your eyesight that reminds you. Even it can just be as simple as, like, one of my favorite ways to play is just to change the soundtrack, right? Like,
Yes.
I saw a whole chain about Whimsy where someone was like, I put on, like, what's it called? Like, medieval music, and imagine I'm a tavern wench doing the dishes at a tavern.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, it's you change the soundtrack, like, sometimes, like, I have, like, raging, like, ADHD, and, like, doing certain things is, like, so hard, so I'll put on, like, a hero's journey type of, like, cinematic score and be like, "Here I go," "I'm doing the spreadsheet."
Wait, I love that. I love that. Yeah, it's like someone who had ADHD told me the way that they get themselves to, like, clean is to start the Roomba so that you feel like you're, like again, you're, like, dancing with, like,
Right.
a friend. Like,
Yeah.
you're both kind of, like, doing it together. Yeah, I just think you're really, really, really doing, the Lord's work out there, and we all need more play, and you've created so many different tools from everyone should go check out your book, check out your Instagram, check out your newsletter, Substack, and now this free app for people to use and to incorporate more play into the world. It really helps me. You help me so much, Pira, and I'm so glad that you exist and that you're using your super play powers to
Thank you.
spread so that people realize what their super play powers are.
Yeah.
That's the whole oh, yeah, I used to put pirate music on Pandora, Lana Lana says.
Perfect.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for, spending some time with us. Everyone go out and just, like, spread play into the world and, let us know how it goes. And, yeah,
Yes, we're all now envoys of the playful way.
yes,
Go spread those play ripples.
love it. Thank you, Pierre. Thank you, everybody, for
Bye.
participating and being the best. Have a great rest of your Monday and your week.
Thank you, you too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.